All right, so on key right, and then after that, comma. Huh? Yeah, not yet. Then the function for, okay, you press the right key. So what's supposed to happen then? Well, player dot move. Let's say the speed is 200. So I'll do like, all right, so if I'm moving in the right, how much X do I want? Well, 200, comma, how much Y? 0, because I'm moving to the right. I don't want to change my Y at all. So this should at least get it to move.
You go fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still pretty fast. I think partially I'm zoomed in pretty far, but. You know what else would be fun? Is when you press the arrow key to start the run animation. So I'm also still inside those curly braces. Going to say player.play. The play function starts an animation. It just happens that I do have a run, so I'll say quotes run. It's not magic, it does have to be defined. It's defined in my atlas.json. Bless you. Bless you. Yeah, and then it starts running. But doesn't that look kind of weird? All set? All right. See it. Do what the. Yeah, sure.
I did get it. I think you wanted it to be.
Okay.
I mean, I think I got like part of it done, but not probably not. And I like paint it. The code I made was just weird.
Okay. I'll read it and I'll look at each part. So it does kind of function a little strangely. It's like as you're moving it, he just like skids a little bit. So this does explain a little bit the weirdness of platformer motion. Now, those of you that have taken 2D game design before, you did the Monster Maze tutorial, which was just like up, down, left, and right? It was really easy motion. It's a little bit like Bean Run. Space Invaders was essentially that, just like left and right. But when you did Space Runner, weren't things a lot more complicated for that platformer, especially once you added the animation to it? So it's kind of the same idea here. There's the platformer mechanics are pretty tricky. They're actually not as hard as top-down mechanics. That really starts to get weird with animations and stuff. I remember somebody had a project that kind of involved the top-down stuff. It's hard to manage the animations. So platformer is still easier than that. But here's what's going on. The on key down is a great choice for move. As you're holding the key, keep moving. But it's not so good of a choice for play, because what play does is it starts an animation. So it's continuously starting it. So I don't exactly want that. So we have to start to pull things out a little bit. So we'll figure out what to do. It essentially comes down to this. There's on key down. There's also on key press. So that's what we want. On key press, that's where we want to do the run. So on key press, quotes, right. Comma, arrow function. That's actually where player.play_run is supposed to go. So we want to separate between on key down for movement and then on key press for the animation stuff. So it's going to look a little better. Yeah, and do just double check the capitalization there. Bless you. No, very small change. So it's hard to tell, but it looks good. Now, what would you say is wrong now? Yeah, so one thing is I can't go left. And
What makes it less?
yeah, he's still running. He's not moving, but he is running. So we've done on key down. We've done on key press. Any guesses for another name that might be good? Yeah, on key release. So we can do on key release, spelled correctly, RELEASE. On key release, well, the right, comma, arrow function. I think there's a stop method, but we actually want to do this. Player.play, parens, quotes. Remember what that animation was called? Yeah. So on releasing a key, then play the idle animation. Yeah, so now it goes back to idle. Now I think we could copy and paste all three for left, but there's actually a different way to go about adding left into these things. So we can actually extend this. So we're still going to play run and we're still going to release. So just know there's a different way to do that. Yeah, that's starting to feel a little more natural. Platform mechanics get interesting. And I think this even gets strange because if you're like moving left and right, but you let go of the wrong one, or Before I do left, there's another thing that I think would be a good idea. Having this number 200 be a variable.
So it's X and Y.
Yeah, like having that.
So you have a negative to go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Or lower.
Yeah.
-1 at least. And that also defines the speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because think about like, okay, we're going to do left. We're essentially going to copy and paste with just a slight change, a negative instead.
Yep.
Or what if we wanted like a speed up potion? Without a variable, we'd have to like have if statements and it would get weird. So variables are actually are going to help this game be very flexible. And it should just be your gut instinct now. If you've typed a number, you probably want that to be a variable instead. Now, somewhere you have to type it, but yeah, I don't like hard coding the number right here. It should just be a variable. Now, I could do a straight up variable, const speed or let speed, either way. But I want to show you something new. So inside of the player object, you can actually create extra properties for the player. So the player has a sprite in a position, an area. It's solid for some reason. Wonder what happens if it's not. Does it fall through? Yeah, it's fine. I set the origin to the bottom. It's just good for platforms. It does have a body, so it affects gravity affects it. Comma. And then I'm kind of going to add some JSON. So curly braces, because I just want to add data. Get some curly braces there, maybe an enter. I'll have a speed. So whenever you're making JSON data, let's just follow the rules, I guess. So you have like a name of something. It's almost like a variable name. It is more proper to surround it in quotes to be actual JSON. That's necessary. Then colon, the 2 dots. This is like width and height. And then here's where I can say 200 or 150 or something like that. And then if I had multiple properties, I'm not going to, but I'd have a comma and maybe HP or whatever. So this lets me add custom properties to my player. It's a little bit cleaner than having let or const variables. All right, last thing is I'm going to swap that 200 then for player.speed. Like we've done player.x, player.y. This is the way to do that. So I can say player.speed. All right, make sure to save. Get rid of that little white dot there. That'll make things flexible. Potions can increase speed or slow speed down if we get hit by a splash potion, I guess. I don't know. All right, have a good one, everybody.